DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
We are here. We are back. So hopefully you found us. If you didn't, you're watching this later.
Which isn't such a bad thing, I guess.
Which isn't such a bad thing, because by then the intelligence will have time to ferment, and it might be better.
Could be.
Could be.
Welcome, everyone.
Good evening. So for those of you wondering why all the links that we sent out earlier in the day did not lead you to this video, and why you had to find it by going and climbing the mountain and talking to at the top of the mountain and saying, "Please, wise one, tell us where the heck the video is." I was doing an app, YouTube Live. They have an app out, and then there's other companies, third-party apps that will allow you to stream live to YouTube. And I've been using this with Lori with the Hometown News. And it's a fabulous thing, because typically, if I do a video with the Hometown News, it's on Facebook Live, and there's no monetization. So we do these videos, we put them up on YouTube, and we've had a lot of people watching. And because it's a niche in a geographic region, there's people who advertise against our videos. Some car dealerships is very ironic. We have car dealerships who buy ads on our videos. So our cost per 1,000 views is like $15 per 1,000. It's incredibly high. Think about that, Brian. If a person would be paying, if you could get $15 a 1,000 on your views for your videos, you'd be like, woohoo!
Yeah, I think I could probably retire.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why we started using it there. And I thought, I'm going to be clever tonight, because I wanted to demonstrate this little guy. This is a little iRig, the little iRig Pre, which will allow me to use this in my phone and a handheld microphone, basically anything with an XLR. And then I can have a headphone so I can monitor it. Well, I've done it with video, with recording, like at a show, and it's like fabulous, because I can hold the mic and it sounds great. I can listen to myself, and I know if I need to pull back. Yeah. So I thought I'd be clever and try it tonight with the YouTube Live. Didn't work. Some of you saw that. The video's still up there. Didn't work. There was no audio. People are like, I can see your lips moving, but I'm not hearing any words. But when I activated that app, it deleted all of the live shows scheduled. So it deleted the Ben show, deleted Brian's show. It deleted tomorrow night's shows with Jared and the music show. So I've got to reset all of those. So if you copied any links from tomorrow's shows, wait for them to get new ones up. I'll put new ones up for tomorrow. So
join us next week for another edition of TMI with John Young.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, it's been a wonderful night. Thank you guys for.
It got screwed up. So
and I kind of said we were going to delay and give them some time. So now they're here. Now everyone's here. So now we can talk about it.
All right.
Now we'll start the show.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
It's time to go. So tonight, I want to talk about a few things. And Brian, you've been putting up a lot of videos, and one thing I noticed you've been doing is you've been moving some of your videos from your personal Facebook page. Now you're starting to put them on your
the fan page.
Fan page. There we go. I'm trying to find.
I don't know. It's the professional page, the fan. They just call it the fan page. I don't know what they call it now. Basically what it's come down to is someone much smarter than me pointed out to me that you've got this fan page that you can have unlimited likes on, and you're only putting your YouTube videos out on the news feeds of 5,000 or less people on your personal page. So we're not really growing, and it's to the point now where I can't accept everybody who wants to be my friend on my personal page. Yeah. As much as I'd like to keep it personal, I can't. So I've had to make the switch. I'm going to have to start doing all of the uploads on the fan page to attract people to the fan page so we can have more views on the videos, because it's not growing. It's doing well. Everything's doing fine. but it's not growing. And there's a lot of people who want to see things or not seeing things. So just trying to get everybody to go over there now. And it's growing pains because there are people who aren't seeing my videos now who are used to seeing my videos because they have not liked my fan page yet.
Yes.
It's not in their newsfeed. So I'm trying to get everybody to just be my buddy and share and spread the word that this is what's happening. And I hate to do videos on it. I feel like I'm doing a telethon, but it's not. It's more for you than it is for me. I don't know. So anyway, share my videos.
Yeah. And
I don't know.
And a good way to do that is when you guys are out there, you can do the Brian Red, and it'll pop up. You do the search. It's interesting how it was way down when it finally showed me when I did the Brian S. Red, because it's the Brian S. Red page. And what you guys can do is once you're there, is you can go and click on the page and go in there and get notifications, which is a big part of it, because Brian doesn't post a ton of stuff, but when he's posting stuff, it's things that most of the time that we're wanting to see, except for that time, he was showing us the repair of the car and we weren't in the cars that day.
So yeah, it's growing pains. It's total growing pains. Now, day and night DJs ask me if I make any money on Facebook pages. The weird thing is, and I know a lot of people don't know this, but I'm not taking any money from YouTube either, believe it or not. And I'll give you a little explanation on that. It's a morality thing with me. There's nothing wrong with people who monetize videos. It's totally cool to do that. I don't do it. And the reason I don't do it is because, quite frankly, I value your time. If you've tuned into my video, I don't want you to have to sit through a commercial so I can make a quarter of a cent or something. That just doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't even take that money. I've got the partnership, but I don't activate it or take advantage of it. So basically what it comes down to is it's completely free for you in every way to watch my stuff. You don't even have to go through any hoops to watch it, really, except just follow the pages. That's just me. The money that I get to do what I do and the products and all that, that's supported by the companies who sponsor. They're the ones who put the gear in my hands so I can demo it for you. It's kind of a rob from the rich, give to the poor kind of thing. So that's why I do it. It might be ridiculous that I do it that way, but it's cool too, because now I'm not freaking out about Facebook being the big video view generator now. It doesn't bother me.
No, because you need traffic. I mean, ultimately,
I see traffic. Yeah, I don't care where it comes from.
You want to get that educational content out to as many people as possible, showing them how to do this, how to do that. Here's some thoughts.
That's it. And the more I can get it out there, the more companies are going to say, okay, we want you to do a demo on this, or we want you to come to the show and cover that. And that's good for you.
For sure.
So, I'm fine. I'm eating. I don't need anything else. I'm comfortable. I'm not looking to do anything more than I'm doing. Money doesn't turn me on, but it does turn me on to be able to do things for you. And I'm going to be able to do more for you with more views and attention on the videos. And to do that, we need to switch over to the fan page for those, for that feed, basically. It's going to be bounced off of everything else too, but you're going to really see it if you're following and liking the fan page.
So you go to facebook.com/DJ Brian S. Red. Brian S-R-E-D-D.
It's one word, DJ Brian S. Red.
That's the page. And then when you're there, then there's this, you can like the page, and then there's this little following box. You'll click on the following box, and you can click to see it first, and then notifications, have those on, and that way you will be kept up to date when things are going to be coming up and when Brian drops videos there. If you don't do that, it becomes at the mercy of the algorithms that Facebook has, and you'll miss a lot, and that's unfortunate because there's a lot of good stuff put up on the page. So here we are.
Yeah, they say, independently wealthy. Yeah, that's it. And then Robin says, money buys them cars. Yeah, and notice that I'm spending $5,000 on a truck I want because I can't do it. But that's okay. It's good to want things. It's not always good to have things. I'm a weird hippie that way. I want to be able to eat and take care of my family relatively well, but I'm really not looking to, buy new cars for everybody and get a gold-plated toilet. I'm just not that guy. I want to just be comfortable, and I want to give. I want you guys to see what I've got to offer. That's it. Mm-hmm. It's weird, but that's what I want. It's really weird.
Yeah, no, that's a great a great thing. That giving back and being part of the growth of the next round of DJs. is
Kind
really
of
important.
been the counterculture guy on that from day one, because before I came along and started doing this, everybody did it for money. Seminars, even content you had to pay to watch it, whatever. And I was the guy who said, hey, you know what? I know a lot of the stuff these guys are talking about. I think I'm just going to give it away and see if anybody watches. And you guys did. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Boy, I threw a monkey wrench into the whole thing.
No, that's quite all right. We were going to talk about that too. We just moved that up first. So I wanted to definitely talk about that and such, because
really?
that has been a change that people have been seeing and such. Because I know someone had mentioned, "Where's Brian's videos?" I mean, they came to me and asked about that. And I'm sure they probably sent you a message too.
Oh, I've seen him. Yeah, I'm like,
if it was before noon, Brian probably was not awake yet.
no, it wasn't.
But if you'd have sent him something at 3 a.m, he probably would have been able to answer pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's right.
He's got a little bit different time schedule.
Yeah, you know me. Yeah.
Those of us with children who have to be to school in the morning, our world changed. Yeah, different story. So, Brian, I wanted to talk about a couple of things tonight. One of which was, as we're going through and it's the booking season, and a lot of DJs are getting the calls. And last week we talked about price. We had a great show, by the way. If you didn't get a chance to check out last week's show, we had a great discussion on price and how to deal with that a little bit, and some thoughts on that. And goodness, there were 500 and some people who have watched that show.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was. So
that's good for this channel. Yeah.
So go check that out. That worked out really, really quite well. A lot of good information there. But I've had DJs talking to me. It's like, okay, cool. You talked about a lot of great ideas and such. But what I'm experiencing is I've got DJs who are $300-$400 less than me and are telling everyone that they are the best DJ in town, in the county. Which the county, I always chuckle about that.
The county.
Yeah.
It sounds kind of cowboyish, doesn't it?
It does. But there's some major metro areas where
the West.
Yeah, we're the best DJ in the county, whatever. But that whole concept of I'm the best DJ, and I remember when we first started, we had the phone. You get the phone books, and you would see DJs who would be 25 years of experience, 40,000 weddings done. We make 2 billion cheeseburgers every day, that kind of a thing.
Over 10,000 titles in our music library.
Precisely. Back in that day, so much of this was just completely BS. Yeah. And I'm wondering today, back then there were naive people who would buy into that and say, oh my gosh, they must be, because it says right here. I wonder if in our modern society, if people are so cynical that when they see someone saying, I'm the best one in town, the first thing is, yeah. If we've gotten to that point.
Right. Well, I don't know. I remember this comedian one time who was talking about, so I can't stand people who say, I have the best wife ever. And it's like, no, you have the best wife for you.
Good point.
It doesn't mean that that's the best wife for me. It's a ridiculous thing to say. The best is very objective. I mean, best for whom? But we have that. I mean, I think every major market has at least 4 ultimate DJs. That's the big thing, that the ultimate DJ. I know 2 personally in my market who were the ultimate DJ. And that's a bit of over-promising and under-delivering, I think. I mean, at any skill level, that's a bit of over-promising and under-delivering.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I don't know if that's how I'll kick this one off, but who buys it? I mean, I don't know. I suppose in today's age, people believe, they believe what they want to believe.
Exactly. And I think today that if I say I'm the best DJ, no one's going to believe me. But if I've got 10 people, 10 random strangers who are going to go post it on a review.
John Young is the best DJ.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it means something.
It means something. And even though the reviews, I mean, and I've shared this in the past with my children, is I can give them good information on a topic and give them some advice on what to buy or what not to buy. They won't listen to me. It's like I'm the guy saying it's the best. Yeah, we don't listen to you because that's.
I go through that a lot too. You don't believe me? Ask somebody else.
Yeah. So I'm going to go read some Amazon reviews and
ask your grandma. She'll tell you this is true. It really happened. I'm not telling you a story.
And Yep. And Dave mentioned Steve Moody posted something like that today too, and that he was another that was talking about that idea. I think he was talking about a $500 DJ that in their market, and there was something was posted, and it was a race to zero, and there's a local wedding Facebook group that is about brides sharing, in search of decorations. Oh, I had a wedding last weekend. Here's my decorations, that kind of a thing. And that particular one has other vendors, DJs, photographers, videographers are all there also. And every once in a while they will share and say, hey, I've got an open date, or
Right.
if you're booking your day. It's interesting when a bride puts up, in search of a cheap DJ, the number of DJs that will line up to say, ooh, here's some. Here. And some are other brides saying, hey, our DJ was cheap or inexpensive, and he did a great job.
Right.
Which, of course, obviously is going to carry some weight. And in that particular chat group, you've got DJs who have gotten some of their friends, female friends, in there to, from the area, who they didn't do their wedding. One particular gal's never been married, and she's on there posting, he did our wedding and he was great.
Of course.
So it really becomes is this generation going to come up, and is it going to be? We had a conversation with Casey last night. Is the next generation going to be one who is going to want to buy like an Amazon type purchase for most of their things, where it's basically research a little bit, click, buy, done? Or are they going to now get to the point where they're so cynical about flim flam that they're going to say, Brian, I want to meet with you. I want to come over and have coffee with you. I want to go, go have supper with you. I want to get to know you before I hire you. I mean, which direction is it going to go? More left?
Do you know how few people just want to hire me on the spot these days? Even if I'm coming recommended, highly recommended, they want to reserve the date, but they want to meet with me on the condition that they meet with me and we talk or whatever. I think there are so many horror stories out there about terrible DJs. They want to make sure that I'm at least competent, and just a face to face. It's not even like we have to talk about anything. As soon as they see me, they're like, oh, okay, he's really exists. He showed up. He must be fine, but they're gun shy because they've heard stories. That's been my experience. So I don't think they're gonna do Amazon purchases on this. I think they want specific things. They all do, whether they know it or not. They want specific things, and they don't want to act like they have no clue, because then they feel like they're going to get taken advantage of. So sometimes they come at you like they know more than they do, which is incredibly common. So I don't know. That's the experience I've had. That's where I see it going.
Yeah, and that's an interesting, because we have that where some want to meet, and then I had two conversations today with potential clients. In both cases, they were referrals from other DJs in my market, and I had gotten their information 2 to 4 hours after they had called the initial DJ.
Right.
And I called, left the message, they called back, and in both cases they had already found another DJ that they had booked, but one, he's like, but we haven't signed a contract yet. Why don't tell me what you do in case it's something that we want to think about and look into.
Right.
And we had our conversation, and typically, and it's like, it doesn't matter to me who you hire, but if you've got one of my DJ, a friend of mine, and such that you have hired, and they're a good fit for you, I won't even waste your time talking.
Right.
It turns out that
yeah, right. Just out of professional courtesy.
Yeah, it's like I don't know who he is, but and it's like, and they're probably going to do a fine job because they were recommended by the venue. But this is what I do, and I talk about the things I did above and beyond. And it really came down to two prong. One is they were recommended by the venue, as I was down the list a little bit farther, because I think the venue puts us in a pricing hierarchy, and they were just a lot cheaper. They called, and the gentleman didn't stumble over his own tongue. He did a nice job in talking about them, asking the right questions, so they felt comfortable with him. And it's like, if you guys feel comfortable with him and everything looks good, unless you want exactly what I can do at that higher level, you're good to go. Go get it taken care of. The other one, they had already booked someone, but in both cases it was just by a telephone conversation, and they're like, yep, we're booked, which is interesting because it's not like there was a contract signed or any of these things yet, but we've got our entertainment booked basically that quickly, without a meeting, without anything beyond the phone call.
Something we used to call in sales, called it mental ownership. So once we feel like we have a date reserved, and if we put any kind of retainer on this. It's mental ownership. So we did it in cars all the time. It's like, well, we don't know how this is going to go, but if we can at least get a down payment of $200 on this car that's $20,000, they have mental ownership on it because
Right.
they've paid $200 on it. They're less likely to change their minds now.
Mm-hmm.
In the case that I haven't signed a contract or anything, that's a little different. But
Exactly.
yeah,
It'd be different if you could, okay, great, yeah. So I'll get your Visa card and that'll hold the date for you, and you're good to go. But I don't know of anyone in this vicinity who works or does that. Not that that's a bad thing or good thing. I don't want to go there. But the
sure.
idea that, as you say, mental ownership, in essence, they're taking ownership of their DJ just from a phone conversation, which is,
Right.
to a point, doesn't fit what you would think with most people who are at a very nice venue, who are looking for entertainment, who are going to spend a little bit more for the entertainment, so that they can have a good quality DJ that fits the venue and the event they're putting on.
Right.
So
Yeah. Who knows?
it's interesting.
Hey, I got a weird one for you.
Yeah.
I'll just throw it out there. I was talking to a pal of mine today who had this situation this weekend at a gig. They were only booked from, I think, 7 to 9 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
And it's a short little gig, repeat customer. And they had a presenter go on before he was to start. The presenter went a half hour over, and the organizer came up to him and said, "Hey, look, we switched this from 7:30 to 9:30." It's like, yeah, okay, fine. I can do that for you. So we did. But then he ended up going 15 over just because the energy was so high and things were happening. And the question he had is, it's repeat customer. I don't mind doing this. But where do you cut it off?
Right.
Where do you say, hey, you know what? It's not going to work out because the clock starts at 7 and it ends at 9. And that's the time you've paid for. Or, so essentially he gave him a free 45 minutes of his time. Repeat customer, would you do that for a repeat customer? I think I probably would.
I would, yes.
But it got me thinking about this. If I was in a situation like this, what I might do is say to them, you know what I normally do, or what I could do, to be fair, is charge you for an early setup, which is less than my hourly rate. So we'll call it an early setup of an hour because I bill it out by the hour.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to do that this time. This time I'm just going to do it for you. When I do that, I feel like I'm letting them know that I am doing them a favor. And the next time around, they're not going to take advantage of it.
Good point.
Those were just my thoughts on it. I would still do it, but I would explain to them that, you know what, I'm going to do it for you. What I normally do is this, but I'm just going to do it for you this time. It's almost like that one-time courtesy that telemarketers say to you, or that when you call the cell phone company and you say, hey, why is my bill this high? And they say, well, because of gobbledygoo. And you're like, what the hell is that? And they're like, it's a one-time courtesy. We'll waive it. But you don't say one-time courtesy because that sounds like shit.
Yeah.
But I think it would be nice just to explain to them, well, we could work it like this, but you know what? Forget it. I'm just going to do this for you this time for nothing. So next time around, they know, hey, this could cost me an extra $50 if we don't get our timing better.
Yes.
I just don't want anybody taking advantage of me.
Oh, for sure. And that has happened. I've been on the end of that where I'm going to be a nice guy, and then the next year,
It's the same stuff.
It's worse.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, our drawing went an extra 45 minutes longer than it was expected. Are we okay if we go a little later? And the company that I did that, I had a number of years, their crowd left anyway. So it's like,
Didn't matter.
Sure. So I'm sitting there playing to the 4 or 5 drunk people, and the manager had said, oh, well, you can go till 12:30, whatever the time was. And you're like, okay, I should have been out of here 45 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to leave because it's like, well, you don't know if you're going to get in trouble. Oh, you said you were going to play till 12:30 and you didn't do it. So,
well, last time you did it, you didn't charge us anything.
Yeah.
Something stupid. Yeah. So if you do it with the giving them the knowledge that you're doing them a favor,
Mm-hmm.
And they think the big favor is you're going to hire you back next year. Well, thank you, but we've already established this. Yes, I'll work with you, but this is, I don't know.
Yeah.
I did a video. I was shortly after I got home from the hospital. I was trying to think of videos I could do on subjects that didn't require me to physically do much.
Sure.
So I was doing a lot of vlogging. I have this engineer friend of mine. I've known him for years. His wife and I are real close. They live in Greece right now, but I was explaining to him how frustrating it is as a DJ when people just keep asking for things and asking for things and asking for things until you tell them no. And even when you say no, they feel like you've slapped them in the face.
For sure.
Clients do this with everything.
Yes.
Let's say just a couple things. Early setup, going over a few minutes. Oh, could you set up over here at dinner and then quick just switch it over here? Probably wouldn't take that much. We have people who could help you do that.
If everybody just grabs something, we can move it over there. No problem.
Yeah, if you could just do that, after contracts are signed and everything else. And he laughed and he said, you know what? I get that all the time. Yeah, because he builds machines and services them all over the world. I have people call me up and I know how to handle these objections. It's real easy. I said, well, how do you do it? He says, it's so simple. He said, do you ever have anybody concerned? Like does anyone ever ask you, well, what happens if you get in a car accident on the way to the gig? Then what kind of thing?
Yep.
And yeah, I do. And I hate that. It's like, well, aren't you concerned about me being in a car accident? Is your wedding more important than my health? You're thinking this, but you don't want to say it out loud. So what do you say? Well, I have a person who can back you up reasonably, whatever. That's not what I say. So what do you say? He says, I totally understand. And you are more than welcome to hire a backup DJ. I'm like, oh, no, that's not necessary. Oh, I didn't think so. Well, I want you to switch from this side of the room to that side of the room. Is that a problem? That is not a problem at all. But here are the things I need from you. What I'm going to need is power no further than 12 feet away from my equipment. And I need this at 120. So what I'm really going to need you to do is bring in an electrician to check these things and possibly an engineer just to make sure this is all going to work out. Okay, no trip hazards, anything like this. Just give them this laundry list of shit to do. And they'll stop asking for things. It won't be important. Well, no, don't worry about it. It's not that important. We'll just work it out. People want stuff until they got to do something to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Then they don't want it anymore. People are weird like that. That is just like not a person being a jerk. That's, I think, a North American personality trait. People ask for things until people tell them no, or until they have to do something to earn it. So I keep that in mind whenever I have a client that's difficult or they want all these things. I'll start giving them things to do to get it, and then they don't care about it. It's no longer important. Oh, I have to do something? Well, never mind. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's interesting that concept, the number of times I've had brides who have seen some of the shows where I'm doing a custom introduction and there's the voiceovers and all these different aspects of it. And they're like, oh, we'd love to do that for our wedding. Great. Well, what I'll need you to do with the wedding party introductions, and I like to use photos for that when possible, what I'll need you to do is you'll need to get 2 photos from each of your wedding party members. One that's more of a pretty photo and one that's a silly photo. And that's what we'll use in it. Oh, I need to get photos?
I got to do that? Well, never mind. I don't need it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what? How about we just don't do that? And it's like, no problem. No problem.
People are funny, man. They're so funny. And I used to freak over this stuff until I had this conversation with my friend, Costa. I used to freak. And now I don't. Now I'm thinking, yeah, they're just seeing how far they can push it. And I'll either, it's very possible it's going to cost you this. Or if I didn't want to deal with it, again, I'll just lay the duties on them.
Mm-hmm.
Put the ball in their court. Yeah, no problem. I can totally do that. This is what I'm going to need from you. Like, me? You give them a laundry list. It's so easy. And it's amazing how they no longer want it after the one thing you ask them to do. Even if it's a simple thing. They no longer want to deal with it.
And probably my biggest is kind of a combination of what Day and Night is talking about here is the times where they're like, yeah, we can we get a microphone during the dinner time? I know we didn't pay for the dinner time music and such, but we could really use a microphone. Well, certainly we could do that, but you do realize I'm going to have someone there on staff who's going to be managing that, and that's going to cost you X number of dollars an hour to do that. And we'd love to have, and I'll have my tech there to handle that for you. Oh, I guess we don't need a microphone that bad.
Or you can make it even more fun. You say, absolutely, no problem. I completely understand. This is what I'm going to need you to do. We need you to get a hold of the local AV rental company and have them send over someone who's certified in microphone, whatever. Just make something up. It doesn't matter. And then I need to see, just to make sure, I need to see their qualifications. Just, because I don't want it screwed up for you or anything like that. Because I don't have anybody prepared, but maybe they do. But, I don't know if they're going to charge for anything else. But if you could take care of that, I'd be happy. Oh, no.
We're good.
Yeah. It's funny. It's funny how people are. But again, it goes back to what my pal was talking about. How far do you go when you cut it off? That's the decision we all have to make for ourselves. I mean, I want to be accommodating to my clients. If my clients legitimately need something or something has gone awry or whatever, I want to help them.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's just a situation where it's like, well, he'll take care of it. He did last year. We'll just book him from here to here, and we'll probably get him from here to here. But
yeah, he'll work with us.
He did it last year.
Exactly. Mike,
careful with that.
Mike here made a good point. People think hiring you, when they hire you, they become basically, they're treated you like your best friend, and you do stuff and for them and such. But once the job's over, you're no longer friends, no longer cool. And that's one of that concept with especially Facebook is that when they hire you and they're wanting things from you, they'll come and they'll want friend request and on Facebook, and they're this and they're that, and they're all excited and such, and then they start, hey, my one has passed a week. My friend's getting married. Can you give her a good deal like you gave me? Why? It's a prime date. You are on an off time of the year. Hers is a mid-June, and we had the conversation when you booked that a November wedding in Minnesota. Yeah, I'm gonna be a little flexible. June wedding in Minnesota, I'm not gonna be too flexible.
No, I can't help you.
So it's like I just didn't go. But yeah, you're the best friend, and I've had some people who I have friended on Facebook. And
me too.
We have a relationship.
I probably got some people watching right now who I've been their DJ. I tell you what blows my mind, just speaking of that, and it's got me thinking. And this isn't the case all the time. This is the case sometimes. When you have that crowd, they're really into it, and you get this, oh, dude, one more song. Come on, man. You're like, you guys are awesome, of course. Boom, you play it. And it's over, and you say, good night, everyone. And they clap, but they don't make eye contact with you, and they walk away. They don't even say thank you.
Yep.
They don't high five you. They don't, hey, dude, we really appreciated that show. Many times, they absolutely do extend that courtesy. But it always seems like those shows where they're asking for me to do more for them, that they just don't appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
They just walk away. I've also had, this is funny. I mean, I'm a disabled guy, and sometimes people notice, and I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta get this stuff out of here. I got an hour to do it. I gotta go. Oh, we'll help you, dude. No, you're not gonna help me. There's no freaking way you're gonna stick around after this to help me do anything. No one's ever helped me do anything. Not that I expect them to. I'd rather handle my own equipment, but it's just a lie. It's a scam.
Yep. Play one more. We'll carry out speakers for you, man.
They don't care about you. They care about them and what they can get out of you sometimes. And you know what? That's human nature. That doesn't mean they're bad people. It just means that you need to be aware of this and not fall for this crap. So I don't blame them for it. I know. It's like being a dad. I mean, your kid tells you something and you're like, okay, whatever. But you know better. But you let it go. I treat my guests at weddings sometimes the same way. I know you're not going to help me with anything. I know you're not going to tip me at the end of the night. I know these things. You know why? Because I was born at night, but it wasn't last night.
Dun-dun-dun.
happens.
Yeah, all the little stories and thoughts with that. How they, yeah, man, I've got to go up and break this, and then I'll come up and tip you. Oh, the number of times in the bar.
Yeah.
Play that. Play
Just
that
don't
song.
fall for it.
No.
Don't fall for it.
We're leaving
No.
in. We're leaving in 10 minutes, man. Can you play our song quick?
No.
Oh no, I
No.
can't. I'm sorry. We're gonna miss you. We're gonna miss you so terribly. Oh,
Man.
and Matt's talking about a Girl Scout troop putting on a dance.
Mm-hmm.
So that one, if they got volunteer to help, they probably would, as best as their little arms could do.
I had a deal with my kid when she was younger, especially in elementary school. I cut this off junior high school. There was no deal anymore. But in elementary school, I knew the mothers in the PTA,
Yeah.
or PTO. I think it was called PTO, Parent Teacher Organization, instead of whatever. Because I'd known her for a long time. So my deal was, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come in and I'm going to DJ the annual school dance for free. 100%, no charge. But if you fuckers send one pizza sale form home, I'm never doing it again. That was the deal. That was my contribution to the organization.
Yeah.
Was the free service. Do not ask me to sell pizzas. Do not ask me to sell cheesecakes, reefs, candies. I don't give a shit what holiday it is. Do not ask. Don't even send it home with her. And they never did once.
See, I would take that. I would.
It was a great deal.
It was, yeah.
Time. And I did something for my kid, and I was a hero. It was great. So that was my arrangement I had. I thought it was a good one.
Yeah, the number of times Lori and I've had the conversations, like, can we just give you guys $100?
Right.
I mean,
Just
you think about
it.
Yeah, just I'm gonna do that, and every time you'll just get to give you $100 and just quit it.
Yeah. Stop it. Yeah, so that I felt like that was a wise thing to do because it just got to be too much, and it's not like these kids sell this crap anyway. You got to take it around to work and people and you got to sell. And oh well, if your kid doesn't sell at least 30 of them, they don't get the prize or no. Screw that, man. Here's some tunes. Just here you go. That's what you get. Don't even ask. The kid knows it too. The kid's not going to bring it home. The kid knows better.
Mike asked about setup videos from gigs. That I'm going to be doing actually a teen dance this weekend, running a partial new sound system. I've got the new Denon in the new case. Then I've got some new tops we're going to be running this weekend. So I'm actually, I think I have internet, because I was actually wanting to do a live stream from, of course it screws up everything now from what I'm seeing, but I wanted to try to do a couple of things with that this weekend. Got the ETX that came in, and I want to take those out and run them through the paces.
I have a friend who has a set of those locally. David Ellsworth, he was on the show.
Yeah.
He's got an ETX rig. And we were talking about this just the other day, and he was saying how I was saying how they're so big. I mean, we did this 850 kid field house with them, and it was like no problem. He said, we weren't even really pushing them. I said, well, the unfortunate bit is you're kind of limited on when you can use them because they're so big.
For sure.
And he said, no, that's not true because you can set them at a less aggressive preset or something.
Yeah, you can back them down a little bit. Mm-hmm.
You can there's more, it's more than just turning it down. You can adjust, there's limiters and things on there that you can adjust to make them more viable or more versatile for some of the smaller gigs too. And I didn't realize that. So I kind of wanted to go over there sometime and kind of get a breakdown on that because I'd be very curious.
Yeah, to see how he's using it. Yeah, that'd be very, very interesting because in my case, it's a teen dance Saturday night, so it's not going to be anything it's going to be pushing and pushing hard.
Yeah, you need the big ones. But did you go with the 12s or the 15s?
Actually, the 12s. I had toyed around with the 15s.
Smart man.
But as Ben Stowe had mentioned that, and when I listened to the two, I thought, and he used the terms, they were voiced. He liked the voice a little bit better, the voicing on the 12s over the 15. And I also thought that. So when the opportunity, it's like, I think it was about $100, $50 difference, whatever it was. I don't remember, but it's like,
There's a weight difference,
oh yeah, a good 20 some pounds, I think.
right?
Oh, it's a
Your
big
back
buck.
will tell the difference.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that somebody much smarter than me once told me that on these, more premium level speakers, typically what you're going to find is your mid bass is more punchy on a 12 than it is a 15. It has something to do with physics that I don't understand it, but something about the excursion of the speaker or how it
Mm-hmm.
moves, voice coil or whatever. It's just sort of a punchy sound with the 12. It's optimal. At 15, it gets a little big. It still sounds okay, but it's a little more muddy. If you want a real tight mid bass, a 12 is going to deliver the best on most of the premium stuff.
And of course, as Ben suggested, you match that up with an 18 under it, and it
Yeah.
gives you the best of both worlds with that.
You put it, well, it doesn't matter what the hell. You put something under it for those. Yeah, 18 is going to give it to you beautiful. But whatever you put under it. Make it a three-way system at any rate. And you're gonna realize some nice sound. And for most dance music, you're not really going ultra low frequency. You're just getting some bass. When you're talking about hip hop or things like that, yeah, that goes artificially low, and they call it Honda Civic bass. Bigger speakers are going to deliver that better. But
And then I've got what I'm going to be using for a light show this weekend is I've got the two Stinger Stars. I want to use the two Stinger Stars, and I've got the Inno Z4s.
Oh, cool. That was fun.
So I'm going to typically I've been using for more of the wash light. I've been using the 5Ps, but for this particular one, what I want to do is I want to use the dome type, like the jelly dome type of a look of the Stinger Star, because that's very cool. And I do have the domes also. Jose did a video showing those, and it's like, oh, that's so awesome. So I grabbed two of those.
I thought the Stinger Gobo was going to be the hit, but the Star was
Yeah.
huge hit.
Oh,
when I
for
got
sure.
it as soon as I had it in my hands, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that was definitely cool. So I'm going to use that and the moving head. And I'm not sure if I'm going to add any additional lighting to this particular show. This school is one that, if you guys have seen some of the videos where we're doing the black light dance, the UV dance, this is that school, which they don't want to have the UV dance now because they do it for homecoming, and then they like to use it as a special at the end of the year. So I have to eliminate UV. And that's why I was thinking the 5Ps, I might just not even bring them, because then it isn't going to be doing UV every once in a while, and the kids might, oh, we still had UV. Yeah, no. So
Right.
I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to add and do with the show. But this is one where it's music videos, and we set up the 10-foot, the 10-foot diagonal. Actually, no, it's not 10-foot diagonal. It's 10 foot across. So 12, whatever, 14 feet.
Well, 14-foot diagonal, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big screen, and
It almost seems like with the music video, you don't need as many lights because you've got something to focus on.
for sure. And lighting actually becomes, unless it's beaming straight out, but if you've got that wash and it's refracting
Right.
off the ceiling and reflecting, it almost washes you out.
Right.
So I will be going without that. So yeah, that'll be my Saturday show, and I'll be shooting some video of that to let you guys know how everything worked.
I'm hyper focused on your record back there.
Which one? Oh, I forgot to switch it tonight.
Queen Greatest Hits.
Yeah, I forgot to switch. That was.
Well, it's a good record.
It is a good record. We can leave that.
I bought it when it was new.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that was not. It was a somebody had resealed and such
No, I mean when it came out, I bought it.
years and years ago.
Yeah. 81-ish. It came out right after the game came out.
Mm-hmm.
Because it had Creed's little Think I Love on it, which is a big hit on the game. But yeah, that's a really good Greatest Hits album.
I'm thinking that the first time I saw that album was an 8-track. That one of my aunts purchased it on an 8-track.
No, I had it on cassette, and I found it for a really good price. And I realized when I got it home, and this used to happen all the time, the reason the price was so good, and no offense to anybody north of the border, but it was a Canadian release. And the Made in Canada stuff back then for cassettes always sucked.
Interesting.
They were just recorded like ass. They didn't have printed words on the cassette itself. It was a piece of like orange tape they put over it with the words on it. It was just like the ghetto version of whatever you really wanted. but I enjoyed it regardless.
True North asked about UV lights. What I do is I have four of the eco bars, or not eco bars, excuse me.
Mhm.
Those are those roughly 30 some inch long. I think they're 30 some inch, or are they 40 inch?
About
Anyway,
a meter. They're about a meter.
about a meter long. Yeah. So
Mhm.
so they've got the 3-watt UV LEDs. Then I have some of the UV flood 36s, and I have four of those. So I use the bars on my trussing to go across the top of the trussing, because I use a 10-foot
Mhm.
trussing to stretch. Two on the top, two on the sides, and they all shine kind of out, but out at an angle so that I'm not getting anything coming back on the screen. Then I put the other four, the UV the floods, I put those two outside the speaker, and then I take two of those and put them on the one side or the other, or I should back a ways where I have outlets. Then I have some of the battery-powered UV lights, the UV Go. From these are all ADJ products, and UV Go, I'll put those in different spots. If I can, I like to try to get one of those up in the ceiling, or as high as I possibly can, so that I can have a variety of different angled lights going. And I sometimes UV Go, they'll have a wall that they'll do a backdrop, and they want the backdrop to glow, so that way people can come with their cell phones and take pictures and show all this going. Well, that means that there's a couple of UV Goes that'll get positioned around that, so they have their photo spot. Lori took a lot of pictures on her phone when we did the homecoming one, and I was thinking about it the other day. I didn't pull any of those off to share. I need to do that, because it's incredible how the UV technology has evolved from those very first, the UV 30, or the big PAR 64 cans that we had, that were more blue than UV.
Yeah, I think about when, like, every day glow color was hot. Like, I mean, just recently we were all reminded of Wham's "Waking Up Before You Go." I mean, if you ever saw that video, they're all wearing day glow and socks and lipstick, and they had some kind of UV light on them, and they're dancing around. That is totally not hot now, but the whole UV concept is. I've seen it in movies and club scenes, and some of the more, to me, interesting setups I've seen in Europe for like rave parties and not raves, but whatever they call them. That's
Yeah.
like a cool dance party. Yeah, it's UV now. It's less of the moving head and the other type of effect light, and more of just the UV light happening. Maybe strobing even. And there's some neat stuff out there to make that happen.
Just trying to think. The last time we did the UV, we had the 12 lights, 4, 4, 4, and 4. We had. I used to set up then the Innos, the Z4s, which the Z4 has 4 little lenses on it, and it would
Quad LED.
zoom and wash. So it's a cool little fixture. I set those up, but the last 2 times we've done a blacklight party, I think I had 2 of the 5Ps up on top that could do a whitewash of the dance floor. And then it was UV the rest of it. That was it for lighting. And I would start the night out. I'd have the two on the 2 5Ps washing the dance floor from the top of the truss, and those are chasing up there and changing color. And then about half an hour in, once the sun has gone down or it's gotten dark enough in the room, all of a sudden those cut and the UV all turn on.
Yeah.
And it's UV the rest of the night.
Have you ever tried the UV cob cannon?
I have not. A friend of mine.
Insanity, dude! Oh my god!
Really? Oh, a friend of mine has those, and that's what he uses for his UV lights. I think he has 8 of those.
Borrow 2 of them, and you can do a gymnasium.
Holy cats! Really?
8 of them? I don't know what he's doing with 8 of them.
I think it might be multiple shows.
It has to be, because 8 of them is gonna, like, people are gonna go into that room and come out like crispy. Because I don't know how else they're gonna come out sunburned. Like, badly. Like, they're going to go to the hospital and have to go to the burn unit, because those things are wicked. They throw out so much UV. I got one over there. The thing is just insane. So whenever I've had anyone ask for any kind of UV, it's like, yeah, I got UV. And I bring this little light, and they're like, yeah, come on, dude. And I plug it in, like, oh my God. It, like, kills vampires, Pretty neat.
Day and Night mentioned, of course, that I'll have to do a couple of those UV shows. I've been doing 2 UV shows for 15 years with 2 schools. One school left, another one came in. So we've had 2 that we've done, and then I've done a couple of others off and on. But the 12 lights I have, that's an evolutionary of going from, it used to be that we had the big, I had the big ADJ 400 watt, whatever the big bulb that was in there that was like a street light.
Yeah.
I can't remember what those. So we had some of those cannons, and then we went from that to the Elation had a UV fixture where you could screw the bulb in. It was like a panel. We had a couple of those. Then went to actually an Omni system light for a period of time. They had a version that we used for a short window. So it's been an evolution of those, and then moving to, then 1 year I bought a couple of lights, or for one dance I'd buy two, and then the next light.
Keep talking. I'm going to pull that cannon
Yeah.
out.
So
I'm just going to do it.
so
Keep
it's
talking.
one of those things that it became kind of this slow evolution of. Have I made a profit on the UV shows? Yeah, probably. I haven't bought lights now for 2 years, because I bought those Flood 36s, those UV Flood 36s. That was the last purchase, and I think those would have been paid for last year. So this year, my UV lighting is, quote, making a profit. But even with those lights, I've got cases with those and such, and they travel well for me, so I'm not beating them up. I think it's definitely something to do. Do I need 12?
That's what it looks
No.
like. Just so you know, I'm going to plug it in now.
That's not that big.
It's not that big. That's what I was trying to show you. It's not huge.
Goodness gracious, I thought they were bigger.
No. Keep talking. I'll be there in a minute.
So yeah, I think any four lights can do so much, but the key thing is getting them up and angled so that they're covering a large area. As I mentioned with the ones that go across the trussing, I've got them up and I kind of tipped them. Actually, those are straight out. The two on the side are tipped out a little bit, so that way the two on the top can kind of cover the middle of the dance floor. Two on the sides will kind of cover a bit to the sides, but away from that screen. And then as I've added more, I mean, that's the way I did. I've got some pictures, I think, on my Facebook page or somewhere I put those up. That's what I did for the first couple of years, and then adding the next, and then adding the next, and then finally all the way around.
Well, for one-handed guy to do this stuff, I'm working on it.
You're doing it.
I'm working on it.
Yeah. So yeah, UV lights are pretty cool. I just wish there were more schools that would get into that and want to do that. I've had schools call, but when you start
glow parties.
Glow parties, yes. When they wanted the glow party. I mean, even we did one actually for one of my son's school dances here the December. They did that, and the kids have never had a glow dance before. They were calling it a neon dance. It's like, why? Why would you call it a neon dance? But that's what they called it. So the kids didn't understand. My boys are in there and they've got the highlighters and they've got the white shirts.
Kind of bright.
Holy cats!
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
And that's with the lighting on. Did you shut off all the other? No, those are still.
No,
on.
everything's on. I can turn on house lights here too. It's just.
You're gonna be.
Look at the light it's putting on my face.
Yeah.
Just a shadow.
Wow.
It's insanely bright. I mean,
now is that a 50 watt LED chip in there? Or is that 100 watt?
it's COB. I don't remember what it is.
Gosh, I don't remember.
Know it's really bright. I'm gonna try to find something orange. Stuff's glowing all over the place. I'm just trying to find the right thing. That's
Right.
not even.
Somebody mentioned the 4-foot fluorescence. Years and years and years ago, ADJ came out with a 4-foot fluorescent that had a metal screen over it. It was a black fixture. It had the inner kind of not shield reflector was kind of looked like a hammered kind of silver look, very very kind of neat. But it had a cage over the light, and we got two of those and we installed them in a bar, and that was the greatest UV light for in the bar. First off, they were very very intense, but with that cage, there were numerous times that we were out there and somebody would throw something and they would hit those lights and hit the cage. Another bar, we had two bars at one time that we were doing. The second bar didn't have those lights because they didn't sell them anymore. And I think we've replaced like 8 or 10 bulbs over the course of a couple of years because people would be out on the floor and they'd throw a beer bottle up in the air and there's shards of glass over.
Like my tools. I mean, it's so day glow bright, Like they look really cool with my eye, and the camera they're probably looking really goofy.
They look very orange.
Well, they're even more orange looking with my naked eye here.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're really popping up.
But yeah, see the. There it is.
Yeah. Wow.
Now you can do huge spaces with just one of these. I gotta turn it off because it's hurting my eyes.
Yeah, oh, for sure. I know how that is.
See, that's normal.
Wow.
Yeah, those are no joke. Those are really nice.
I'll have to definitely check into those. That'd be very cool.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, I say two just so you can put one in the front and one in the back.
Yeah.
Not because you actually need two to make anything happen. One is more than enough.
Brian, what was the official name on that one? They're asking about that.
It's an 80J UV Cobb cannon.
Cobb Cannon. There we go.
COB stands for chip on board, and that's what it is.
Yeah, I think the Cobb Cannon was a little bit more than the. I can't. They were a little bit more expensive than the Flood that I picked up.
It's not a cheap date at all. But it's if you want to do UV, one and done. Really.
Yeah, they're running about $400, $399 online.
If you've got a demand for people who want to do glow parties or neon or fests or whatever they want to call them, they're brilliant.
And that's one of the reasons why at the time I went with the UV. When I'm getting lights and such, I want to be getting some lights that are going to be things that a lot of you are going to be looking at and buying. And I think I checked the price at the time, and the UV 36 or the Flood 36 is $199.
Right.
And you guys are most likely going to spend $199 and get two fixtures than one, and get. But geez, that's so bright. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's
$100 more, and it's the answer to anything I ever need blacklight. I've used them on photo shoots before, and in big warehouses, and everything just pops. It's pretty neat.
Yeah. And somebody mentioned that a lot of these the uplights and such, they're hex fixtures, and they can be set.
You can do a lot with those, and you're using multiples, and you're getting a nice effect.
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with that. But me, I like it easy. If I could take one thing and literally blow a room up.
Yeah.
That thing, and I hope I demonstrated that.
Yeah, looks good. They're saying you look a little more tan now.
Yeah, and I have felt actually a sunburn after using that thing and being exposed to it for a long period of time.
Wow.
When I've been too close to it, I have felt it, and not a long period of time. I'm talking about minutes. If I would have left it on, I might need some aloe tonight, because it's
that intense.
Yeah, it really is.
We're gonna wrap things up here. I've got a couple of questions. The Inno Pocket Spot Laser LZR. Did you get a chance to check that out? Have you played with that?
The Inno Pocket Spot LZR?
I think that's just the Inno Pocket Spot that had a little laser, red and green laser on it. Yes?
Look at the Inno Pockets. Because there's an Inno... Oh, the Inno Pocket Spot. Yeah, I have that. I do. I have it. Basically, and there's so many SKUs, it's hard for me to keep track of them. It's an Inno Pocket Spot, but it's got like a Galaxian laser on it.
Yeah, that's what
only in green.
And I think you can.
It's cool if
chase the laser around and do your things.
No, it's not brand new. It's been out for a while. It's been out for 2 years. But I do have one. I have two, as a matter of fact. They're cool. They send like Galaxian laser does. It just how the Focus Spot 1 and Focus Spot 2 have that like bonus UV on them.
Mm-hmm.
This has a bonus green Galaxian laser on it. So wherever the moving head goes, this thing can go as well. They're cool. They're pretty neat. It's a cool effect. If you like that effect, and if you like that effect to move around, it's an amazing fixture for you. They're fun. I have videos on them. If you go back into my archives, you'll see I got videos on them.
Just gonna see if there's, a lot of the stuff we're talking about. We've shot videos on any number of these things. It gets to the point where it's been like 6 months, a year, 2 years on some of the videos, and it's like, oh, yeah.
Mike Duncan says, so get one like BRS, which is close enough, or get the two like John uses for UV. I think it depends on what you want to do. Really, to blow up gymnasiums, you can't beat this Cobb cannon. If you're doing smaller events or just kind of want to keep the UV on the dance floor itself, maybe the smaller eco bars are the way to go. But yeah, it's so hard to demonstrate that because I don't know if people can really understand how incredibly intense it is on video. It's more intense in person than you're seeing on video.
Oh, for sure.
But I took it into, I think, Hot Water Warehouse, and I shot the thing off, and I lit the whole room up. The only thing is, in my thinking, you're going to get shadows because the light's only coming from one direction. So if you wanted to put one on one in one corner of the room, one in the other corner of the room, you could eliminate most of the shadows. You don't need the light, it's just to eliminate shadows. So the light's coming from more than one direction. Or you could use eco bars to fill if you wanted to.
Yeah, there's so many possibilities.
There's so many ways you could do it. But I mean, I was thinking if I want to blow up a whole gym, yeah, two would eliminate most of your shadows and create a real cool effect.
I just threw a link up there a little bit ago, and that was one of the. How long ago was that? That was 2000. But I'm not seeing a date on that one. 2015. So that would have been that evolution of that light show, that UV light show. Mm-hmm. And I believe the 5Ps. There's a little bit of difference in the UV temperature of the 5P and some of the other UV lights. And I think that video might show it. Otherwise, I have a couple of other videos, I think, if you go to our channel and search.
Yeah.
But the only thing I would say, you're going to see me mixing lights. If I were to do it over again, I would go with really one light. And I think, when Brian's talking about those cannons, if a person can get those up and shining down over the kids like that, it would be a much better option, because then the color temperature, all matches all the way across the board.
You put that on a proper light tree, you shoot that up 10 feet in the air and point it down, you got it. You've more than got it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
the kids will be nice and tan like they went to Jamaica when they leave the place.
For sure. Except where
it's not that bad. I mean, if you're, reasonable distance away from the thing, but I've worked with it close up on photo shoots before, or I've been with models and, they've had makeup on, so it didn't affect them as much. But me being there and kind of changing things around or whatever, I sure felt it. In fact, the first time I used it was in a warehouse. It had no heat. And I know that the temperature was, if they weren't in the single digits, they were in the teens. It was very cold that day. And I still managed to get some kind of sunburn.
Jeez.
That thing. So.
Well, gang, we're going to wrap things up. Thank you guys for watching tonight and being with us and asking questions and sharing and such. That's awesome.
Thank you for joining us, putting up with us.
Yes. Any big videos that are going to hit later this week, Brian, that we can give them a little teaser on?
I'm waiting for product. I'm kind of in video limbo right now. But you know what I have been thinking about, and I was going to bring it up on the show, and I didn't, and I should have earlier? I'm going to put you on the spot. Mm-hmm. I think DJN should have its own radio station.
You've mentioned that, and I actually looked into what you had shared that day, and that's an interesting concept to do that internet radio that way.
Mm-hmm. You can use your sponsors.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you don't do it, I'm doing my own.
Yeah.
I don't want to broadcast 24/7. I just want to go on once in a while. I got some stuff I want to do, and I think it might be fun if we had that.
Yeah.
We are disc jockeys, and if we have the ability to do a radio station where it doesn't cost us $1 million, I don't know. It just kind of sounds like something that would be a natural progression for us to do.
And that was the big thing. As we're looking at as I was looking at that, and you're paying for listener hours.
Mm-hmm.
So if a person's doing, a 2-hour show once a week and such, well, each of you that watch is going or listen is going to be a listener hour or two. So it's just a question of figuring out what was out there and what could be done.
You just start small. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just my wheels start turning in the wintertime when I get bored. So. I'm bored right now. I don't have product. I've got a lot of energy. I want to do things. And I have been putting videos up. I put kind of a cool one up on like Gobo 101 the other day.
Saw that, yeah.
And I've got other things I want to do. But yeah, when I get bored, I really start thinking about things that get me in trouble, like my own radio station.
It would be music, Eric. It would be a live broadcast. It wouldn't be a podcast and it might be recorded. I guess I'm not sure with that particular company, but it would be a 8 to 10 live music show where.
See, I even thought it would be cool, like if you and I were to come on here and do our 1-hour video show, And then maybe following that, we bounce everybody to a different link where we do a 1 or 2 hour radio show, and we could dive into the music part of it and do it live. Now you could record it and put it somewhere where you're not going to get flagged, like in the insider area.
Mm-hmm.
You could have it there available, perhaps, but you wouldn't want to have it available for everyone because then you would run into sharing music things.
Issues really quickly. Yep.
Right, but there's something to this. We could do it as an educational tool. We can do it as a fun tool.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we wouldn't be on all the time. And I'm sure there are other people who are involved who really want to be on. You know, if 5 people watch them, it's only 5 listening hours. Who cares?
Yeah, that's not a big
Content.
Yeah, we'll have to dig into that a little bit more. And
I'll probably put you on the spot there and just say.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you had mentioned it and shared the link the other day, so I could research a little bit to know, and instead of sitting there and say, "Oh, really? Tell me more."
Well, how many times? I mean, John and I, and you guys don't know this, but John and I have talked about so many times we want to do a show where we want to play you samples of songs, but we can't do it because we get flagged on YouTube and on Facebook.
Yeah.
Here's a solution. It's a live solution, and I think it's kind of an interesting solution. And it wouldn't only be an educational thing. I think we could just have fun with it too. We can just do a full hour or 2 of broadcasting of weird music or just stuff we like. Maybe every week you do a show at a certain time. You do it or someone else does it, where we give our picks for the week of the hot tracks. I don't know. There's all kinds of possibilities. That could be really fun.
Yeah. Last question. Dates for the Toronto trip.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be, I think it's the 11th and 12th of March.
Yeah, it's the Saturday and Sunday.
Uh-huh.
Yep. So.
And I have to leave Sunday night because I got to be at Mobile Beat.
Yeah.
I got to go from
Toronto.
Canada or Toronto to Vegas. That's a straight flight. Last year I tried to go home first for a few hours, and that was just a nightmare. So I think the good people at the CDJ show have arranged a direct flight for me. Nice. And that's all I ask for. I mean, I don't do these as paid gigs. I do them because I think it's fun. I just need some things handled. And that was one of the things I asked them to handle for me.
Yep, cool.
But I don't know how long I'll be in town. I'm not sure. But I know that I'll at least be there on the 11th and 12th at the Toronto Hilton, March 2017, for the CDJ show.
Cool. Gang, thank you much once again. We will catch you next week. Tomorrow night we'll have a couple of shows. The video players aren't up, but we'll be back on live tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern. We'll have the links and such up tomorrow because I'm going to go in and say hi to my wife and be done with the DJ stuff for tonight. So once again, good night.
Yeah. Say hi to his wife.
I'm going to go say hi to my wife. All right. Thanks, Brian. Good night, everybody.
Wow. Night.